Mira had always said one thing since she was little. One day, I'm going to find my real best friend. She was just 7 years old when that wish came true, in the most unexpected way. On a gray autumn afternoon, Mira was visiting the crumbling estate of an old farmer on the outskirts of Eldon Hollow, a quiet town nestled in the pine-clad hills of Norelia. Her grandfather had brought her along to pick up some spare lumber. While he bartered inside, Mira wandered across the dusty property. That's when she noticed movement near a sagging iron barn. Curiosity pulled her closer. Lying in a shallow bed of straw and dirt, barely sheltered from the cold wind, was a German shepherd. His frame was gaunt, one leg dragged uselessly, fur marred by old scars. He was tethered loosely to a fence post, as if he were nothing more than forgotten waste. Myra's breath caught in her throat. She ran back to her grandfather and the grizzled farmer. "Sir, what about the dog?" she asked. The man shrugged with disinterest. "Old Mutt ain't good for much anymore. Hurt himself bad. You want him? 5 marks. Myra's wide eyes turned to her grandfather, pleading. Then she reached deep into her worn coat and drew out 5 crumpled Norellian marks. Her entire savings from gathering apples and sweeping the inn porch for her grandmother. Her small hand trembled as she offered the bills. The man snatched them without another word. "Your problem now," he muttered. But to Mira, this wasn't a problem. It was a promise. Her grandfather knelt beside her. "Sweetheart, are you sure?" Mira nodded, voice steady. "He needs someone. I think maybe he picked me." They untied the rope carefully. The dog didn't resist. He stood weakly and, with great effort, followed Mira home without a sound. That night, Mira prepared a warm bed in the old stable behind their cottage. She laid out blankets, fresh water, and soft words. "You're safe now, Arlo." The name came to her instinctively. The dog, Arlo, released a soft sigh, the first sign of relief. For the first few days, Arlo barely moved, barely ate. His limp was worse than Mira had realized, and every sudden sound made him flinch. He never barked, never growled, just watched the world through eyes clouded with fatigue and pain. Mira spent hours with him. She read him stories by lantern light, shared morsels of bread and cheese, and left her beloved stuffed bear by his side each night. Her grandparents observed from afar, uncertain if the broken animal could ever trust again. But Mira never gave up. Every morning she greeted him with a cheerful, "Good morning, buddy," and every night she tucked him in with whispered promises. One quiet evening, as Mira brushed the hay nearby and hummed to herself, Arlo gave a hesitant wag of his tail, just once. To Mira, that single wag was everything. It meant hope. As weeks passed, Arlo slowly regained strength. Yet Myra's grandfather, a retired forester, noticed something odd. One night, as a documentary played on the radio about old military campaigns, the crackling sound of marching boots filled the room. Suddenly, Arlo stood upright, ears perked, posture sharp, like a trained sentinel answering a familiar call. "Grandfather, why did he do that?" Mira whispered. The next morning, a bucket slipped from Myra's grasp. Before she could react, Arlo rushed forward, positioning himself between her and the falling clatter, protective, alert. And later that week, in a playful moment, Mira pointed a stick and said bang. Arlo instantly dropped to the ground, motionless. Her grandfather sat forward, brows furrowed. "That dog's no ordinary stray. That's advanced training, not tricks." The mystery deepened until one sun-dappled afternoon in late autumn. Mira chased a fluttering sky moth near the tree-lined edge of their land, Arlo bounding after her. Suddenly, a guttural snarl tore through the silence. A wild thunderboar burst from the brush, tusks gleaming, charging straight for Mira. She froze. But Arlo didn't. With lightning precision, he launched between Mira and the beast. Barking furiously, he circled the animal, dodging and feinting with calculated moves. After a tense standoff, the boar fled back into the woods. Panting but unscathed, Arlo returned to Myra's side and nuzzled her hand as if to ask, "Are you all right?" The next morning, Myra's grandfather spoke firmly. We're taking him to see Dr. Valen. Dr. Valen ran the modest Eldon Hollow Veterinary Clinic, tucked between a bakery and the cobbler's shop. After a thorough exam, he paused while pressing gently along Arlo's neck. There's something here. With care, he extracted a small, embedded metal chip, worn but intact. When scanned, the display blinked to life. The vet's eyes widened. This dog, he isn't a stray. He's military, part of K-9 Unit Bravo 9, presumed lost in an explosion 2 years ago. Mira gasped, her arms wrapped instinctively around Arlo. Tears filled her eyes. You were a hero before I met you, she whispered. Now you're my hero too. Word spread like wildfire. A former military reporter caught wind of the story and published an article titled, Forgotten Guardian, 7-year-old girl saves lost K-9 hero. Soon, townsfolk began arriving at Myra's family farm. Some brought treats for Arlo. Others simply wanted to meet the brave dog who had returned from the brink. Neighbors once distant now left cards and gifts on their porch. One retired soldier traveled across Valenreach County just to salute Arlo and shake Myra's hand. He's shown us all what loyalty looks like, the man said softly. During a small gathering in the village square, Mira stood on a wooden crate beside her faithful companion. I didn't know who he was when I gave that 5 marks, she began, her voice trembling. I just knew he needed someone. And maybe I did, too. She wiped away a tear. They say I rescued him. But the truth is, he rescued me first. The crowd fell silent. Arlo stood proudly at her side, tail swaying gently. Mira knelt and hugged him close. You're my best friend. And in that moment, there wasn't a single dry eye in Eldon Hollow. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who loves dogs or believes in second chances. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring true stories like this. What would you do if you found a hero like Arlo? Let us know in the comments below.